My Little Monsters is Rec Room's latest Rec Room original, and to say that they haven't really been providing what it needs would be an understatement. However, recently, Rec Room's been turning a new leaf by updating the beam bodies, the room strike system, and, not surprisingly, My Little Monsters. Now, seeing the change in Rec Room's attitude recently, I really started to get my imagination going, think about what they could do to turn this underwhelming Rec Room original into something that's actually genuinely playable. And I've come up with 5 updates that Rec Room can easily add to this game that would easily turn it from one of the worst Rec Room originals in the last 5 years to one of the best Rec Room originals in the last 5 years. So, we're going to start off with number 1. Okay, so I'm going to get the obvious one out of the way that everyone says to death, so I'm not going to rattle on about it too much, and that is new monsters. To put it quite frankly, the game doesn't have enough. There are the main 3, and yeah, they're really cute, they're really cuddly, and I want to have all of them, but once you have one of each type, they're really boring. Even just like 2 monsters added to this game would easily make it like 400 times better, since it would add more conversation starters, and not to mention more monsters equal better. I've always thought this game was quite a lot like my singing monsters and Pokemon, which are known for having vast amounts of monsters to collect. So, for Rec Room, just to have 3? I think that Rec Room didn't really expect the game to need more monsters. I know Rec Room are known for doing the bare minimum, but, like, I feel like the game was more about, like, raising the monsters, but the monsters were the coolest part. So, make more. I can't really say much. Now, the only actual piece of information that we have on this is this Discord message, which isn't very good evidence to support that this might actually happen. I wouldn't put my bets on it. However, it is still hope, and I'm going to be holding out to Rec Room, praying that you guys are going to make something new. At least 2 monsters will make this game 400 times better. I've said it already, but please, please! So the game has quests. It relies on quests. I have the thing up here right now saying what quests I need to do. However, to say that the quests suck is kind of an understatement. I think that the game really suffers from just having like 2 side quests and 1 main quest, if I'm not mistaken. And it really needs more. It just needs more. I can't explain it any other way. For a game where the progression system is linked to quests, you can't have no quests other than 2 side quests and 1 main quest. It's really boring. Another thing about side quests I quickly want to add is they're also very repetitive in this game. It is, oh, go into the Everground, find what you need to find, and then give it back to him. It's incredibly repetitive and boring. I think actually out of all of them, like Wilson's is the most interesting. Like, just give us new, unique side quests, and I think the game will have a lot better, like, flow and run to it, rather than just complete the sanctuary. Harambe, what are you doing? Okay, so this is more a personal gripe that I have, but I think it just is an overall improvement upon what Rec Room stands for. Please, for the love of God, add multiplayer to these rooms. Monster Sanctuary and Evergrown should have multiplayer. I don't know who decided that this game was going to be single player in a social game, but I don't know, like, why you do that. So, this is just a personal gripe, which really infuriates me, because I'd love to show everyone how cool my sanctuary is, but I really can't unless I'm streaming or I put a picture on rec.net, and at that point, it's not even fun. I want to see someone walk into it and be able to walk around and see my world and what I've built. I think that it is a massive issue that should really be stopped. However, I'm not the type of person to talk to on this one. I don't know the logistics of how Monster Sanctuaries or the Evergrown works, but please at least make the Monster Sanctuary work. I beg of you. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. How is this not in the base game? Please, Rec Room. I don't care if you just don't make an update after this. This is what I want you to add, since I think it will add replayability, it will add a reason for us to decorate our sanctuaries, and it will add the social aspect to a multi-platform social game, which you're trying to achieve. So I don't know why you're going against your own vision on this. So, okay, so I know this one is probably the least likely one to ever happen. However, fighting like Pokemon would be really cool in this game. One of the main gripes I have about the current game is that there's no reason to level up your monsters from baby to elder. I mean, yeah, I have to do it to play the game. However, for example, I could just upgrade Harambe here to all the way up in the star level things. I don't know what it's actually called. And it doesn't matter if he's a baby or an elder. It's the same thing. So, I have a fix for this. Your monsters, depending on how high that they level up, so for example, baby, toddler, child, teen, adult, elder, those will all actually affect how good your creature is at fighting other creatures. Once your creature faints, you have to do a variety of tasks to get them back from fainting or weakness or whatever you want to call it. Let's say you want to keep on fighting someone or keep on fighting other people. You can instead start using a different monster instead of the main monster, so then you can always have like a set of monsters to always pick. This also doesn't mean that you just have one main monster and then never play with any of the other ones. This will create a more engaging gameplay loop and also will make your monsters have more reason to be leveled up than literally just like, oh, you're a child inside of my sanctuary. Bye! I feel like I'm giving my children abandonment issues, and that's not kind of what I want to give. Before I go into my last point, I want to give a nice honourable mention. That being, the day-night cycle needs to happen. I know that this didn't really belong like as high as the other ones, which is why it isn't really considered one of the things that Rec Room needs to update. But a day-night cycle in your sanctuary would be fantastic. There are loads of decorations where it's consistently about light. What's the point in there being light if it never becomes dark enough to see the light? I can't see pretty lights glow. That's my issue. So if you just add in some like lights and maybe some day-night cycle to it, your sanctuary at night will actually have a reason to glow up. I will have a reason to put the fairy lights up everywhere, and it will look really pretty, and I'll love it, and I'd be really happy. So please do that. It's not necessarily on the top of my list, but it's such a nice addition, I couldn't help but add it into this part of the video. The final update that I'm going to recommend, and probably the least likely one, is expansion. A good example of this is Fran's Flowers, right? Maybe there's a lady named Laura, and she tells you to do a quest. Again, I'm relating back to these side quest things that I was saying earlier in the video. After you've done the side quest, you could get flowers, trees, and other nature-y things, I don't know what else to say, that you could put inside your sanctuary. Another place that could easily be added is this bike repair store. Now, I know that bikes would be hard to implement into this game, but it'd be really cool if I could get a bike and ride it along, and I could put it in the Evergreen, and it would easily allow me to transport to other places even faster. Since this is such a large map, walking can become a bit of a tedious task. So what you could do is add a bike where you can then cycle with your monster to other new places. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about what I would make this abandoned building, and I have the answer that would easily make this game 10 million times better. And that is a black market. Okay, I know you have DJ's Diner, and that kind of has a black market sort of thing, but this would be a million times better. You could ask DJ and complete DJ's mission for a password. Once you get the password, you can then go up to this door, and the door will slightly open. Someone will go, hey, what's the password? You can then, if you know it, be able to open up the door and go downstairs underground, where there is an entire criminal organization underneath the entire Cryptic Creek. Okay, so for example, in this black market, you could have a set of people called the Monster Hunters. The Monster Hunters like to use the light from monsters and harvest it for their own personal gain. Their side quests could be giving them monsters in exchange for rarer, more exquisite monsters. Heck, you could even build a second town beyond these gates in the future, and it could be run by the Monster Hunters. It would be very sullen and grey and have a different set of monsters for you to collect, and it would be a perfect juxtaposition from the peacefulness of Cryptic Creek. Do I think that you are actually going to do all of that work? Probably not. The game doesn't really need that much work, but come on, it would be epic. Anyway, those are my 5 recommended updates for My Little Monsters in the future. And can I just say, Rec Room, thank you for updating this game. I know it was a small change, But I think, as you can see behind me, it was a necessary change that easily made the game at least 10 times better. Please keep on doing what you're doing. Please add more to this game. It needs it, and I would love it if this game was more than what it is currently. Do I think that this game necessarily has to be the best game in Rec Room? No, absolutely not. But it definitely is a strong contender to being that if you consider doing more updates to it and maybe doing some of the things that I've been telling you to do. I don't know, maybe you should start doing some of the other. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Rec Room. Thank you, viewers, for watching. I know this has been a long rant session by me. However, I think it's necessary for Rec Room to hear our feedback rather than just yelling at them when they do something wrong. I'm going to log off now. I'm going to see you all in the future. Peace!